Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen vs. the World. I'm Septum Sen, and I'm here with Kotobuki Jake.
Right?
And we're here to show you what we got. In any case, this is going to come to you a little bit later. I've been thrown off kilter by a couple of things. We're actually filming on a different day. I'm in my Rebel Gaming Club shirt, and I'm hoping in the news to tell you a little bit more about that. There are a couple of things that I remember in the news items, but that's going to be reformed. But we're going to get into it. This is going to be debuting Wednesday this week. And again, most of y'all will understand why come, well, the day this is airing. So I don't have to tell you.
Okay.
So
leave us all in suspense.
So this time, I think since Kotobuki Jake has been going first a lot lately, well, last two times.
I think so, yeah.
I'll go ahead and go first this time. I mean, we can't, we can't always go first. But then again, the one who goes second always gets to go last, so there's always that honor of that. So I'm going to start with an older pickup, but a nicer pickup that I haven't shown y'all. And I like to try and show people this. I'm trying to keep to an anime theme, and that is this a zombie? Now these are the limited edition ones. I think they're limited.
Yeah.
And this is the first season. I got that a long time ago when it came out. It's got the little sparklies on it.
Very sparkly.
Nice DVD set. And it's a pretty good series. It's about a guy who ends up dying and then being brought back as a zombie by this necromancer. And then he gets involved with these like magical girls and demons and monsters and so on. And many of them are after the necromancer.
It's basically a supernatural harem comedy.
And it is a really good series. I've enjoyed it. And then, of course, I had to get the second season, Is This a Zombie of the Dead? Which also similar format. Sparkly. And this one, though, I don't know anything about because I haven't seen it. You've seen that one.
It's basically more of the same. It's the first series has a little bit more gravitas to it, a little bit more seriousness, a little bit more plot driven. And as is often the case with these series, the second one ups the ante on the harem antics and that kind of stuff. Basically, he kind of mentioned a little bit. You have the necromancer, who's the silent type. She's the very, the flat affect. She writes everything down on a notepad. You got the magical girl, which he actually ends up stealing her power by accident. And that's how she gets involved. And you forgot the funniest part, where he does the magical girl transformation. グミーチャでビブラ取られてる取らないで取らないでグミ来てる And the magical girl's tool is a chainsaw, bright pink chainsaw. And then you got the vampire ninja, because that's a thing in that series. And who was it? Was it another vampire ninja, I think it was? Or was it magical girl who rounded it out?
I can't remember.
I don't remember. But I'm not usually a big zombie person, but that's the kind of show that catches my attention.
It's not your traditional zombie.
Oh, not at all. And the end theme, the animation and the music, the end is one of my favorites. It's a good ender. It's really, it's a fun little series. I have the limited edition. Funimation did a stupid kind of dickish thing with this series. They originally put it out on DVD only and never really did a bonus edition, limited edition on Blu-ray. And I'm really not positive they ever did the first series on Blu-ray. So I have the limited edition on DVD, but I have the second series on basic, DVD Blu-ray combo.
All basic.
Yeah. But it's a fun series. It's worth watching.
Yeah. If you see me jot things down during the video, it's that my memory is crap. So if I see something that needs to go into the editing, or if I see something that I need to write as a thing in the little section below, I will say that, and then it won't appear there because I will have forgotten. Even after I watch it to edit it, I will still have forgotten about it by the time it gets there. So this time, this is my way of saying, nope, as soon as it comes up, writing it down, it'll get done.
Get her done. All right, so I'm actually reaching all the way back to my Christmas stuff. This is pretty much everything. Well, everything this week is off of Black Friday / Christmas, and it's a pretty fun assortment. I'm trying to work my way through that. The first one, I've mentioned that pre-Black Friday sale they did at Best Buy, and I've shown off a couple movies I got from that. I think this is the last one from that. This was a $5 pickup. Multiple Oscar winner that very much needed to be added to my collection. Les Miserables.
You got some good ones here.
Oh, yeah, I do. This one won supporting actress for Anne Hathaway. Also got Oscars for makeup and sound mixing, which, considering it was up for 8 awards, I guess, yeah, it's not a bad pickup. It's got a ton of good people in it. I personally think Hathaway's role was a little overblown. She wasn't in the movie long, but she did get one of the big numbers of the movie. What's the title of the song? I don't remember. And it's really bad because when I was in choir back in high school, we had a Les Miserables medley that we would go to on days where we were bored or not doing anything. We would always do Les Miserables. So I should be able to remember the song titles. But it's a good movie. They went all out. There was a big to-do about how they recorded it. It was different. Like, didn't they actually record everything, sound and visual together?
Yeah.
Which is very rare for movies, actually. The way they did it was different than usual.
It came across very different than the Broadway musical.
Which may be why it won sound mixing, because that was kind of a strange thing to do with the movies, and they pulled it off. It's also notable, if I remember correctly, Eddie Redmayne is a key role, and it was one of his first notable roles. Yeah. So, good movie all around. And this reminded me, I'm hoping in the news to mention a CD I recently found that I loved. But Russell Crowe was in this, and that reminded me of that CD.
It's Russell Crowe's band?
Huh?
Russell
Crowe's band. What is it, 30 Odd Foot of Grunts? I'll admit, that's a great name for a band. That is a great name for a band.
Oh, grunting is what Russell Crowe does best.
Alright, I think it's an Australian term for, like, homies or something.
I know.
Alright, well, there you go. Ladies it up.
Alright, so I'm trying to keep up with an anime theme, and this one also came from a sale that could have happened during the holidays. I can't remember. Sentai did this run starting in the summer and then ending so far at Christmas, where they kept having these massive sales. And
don't think they've started it yet this year. You're slacking, Sentai.
And this was on one of them. Which was, I got all of these for a very good price. I can't remember what, but they had them greatly reduced.
I think they were averaging around 21 or so a season, like if you put it all together. Because they had different prices for each one.
It was one of the combo ones where you got all of them. And some of these you can't get individual anymore. So I can't remember which one. But they now have a complete collection. But yeah, they have a complete collection now, so you don't have to deal with what I'm dealing with here. You can just get the whole thing at once.
Did you mention the title? I might have missed it.
So that is Familiar of Zero. So I'm just going to run through them really quickly, since I haven't seen it yet. Which is, of course, the first season. Second season, which is, what is it, the title? Night of the Twin Moons. Third season, which is, again, that is the Rondo Princesses. And the fourth season, which is F, Now, this is a typical, well, it's a harem series, but from what I have heard, the main girl in this is a tsundere to end all tsunderes.
And of course, she's played by Ria Kugamiya, so that makes perfect sense.
And many people who I've talked to in the anime community who like this series hate her. And many people I've noticed consider her one of their least favorite characters. So I'm very curious because I don't care for tsundere characters for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few that I've gotten to like Taiga, for instance. I've gotten to enjoy her as
Another
a character.
Kugamiya character.
But they do tend to feel annoying to me a lot of the times. And I'm also usually annoyed at the protagonist because I consider them a bit of pansy.
Well, the protagonist often is in those kind of series.
But I'm not sure if she can top Akane as far as being that way, but from what I've heard, she's definitely right there.
The thing is, Akane was more... Akane Tendo from Ranma and Half was more balanced. Like, she had tsundere qualities, but she was not just like a postage stamp, rubber stamp tsundere. But a lot of these characters are. And I like them when I don't mind a tsundere quality if it's part of a overall character. Although Akane does take it a little bit
Akane
far.
Was overly violent as a kid.
The violent aspect was there, no doubt about it. That's like her sister Kasumi said that she's really a very sweet, kind-hearted girl. She's just a violent maniac.
Yeah. And in truth, though, the only one that she was really that way with was Ranma.
Right.
Because even Kuno, it was obvious she didn't like Kuno.
Yeah.
And but she was even more accommodating to him
Right.
than she was to the one that she supposedly liked. So it just aggravates me. That's all.
Yeah, it can be aggravating, and I understand that. Now, Familiar Zero, I think one reason why F went out of print first is Sentai did something really weird. Who originally released that? Was it Anime Works, or was it...
That's a good question.
Someone originally released... The first series has been out in this country for a long time and is way out of print. And actually, I want to say it might have been Guinean. I don't know. But anyway, Sentai picked up the license, and I believe, if memory serves, they started with F. Or they started with the first series and F. I can't remember what they did. But I do know that they had released both of those before they'd actually even licensed the second and third series. So F has been out a whole lot longer, even though it's the fourth season. So that's probably why it's out of print. Now, I picked up the first season on Blu-ray a long time ago when they did a flash sale, and I got it for like $8, which is really awesome. But it was the only season. And now, between the fact that F is out of print and Sentai has put out a complete collection, I'm probably just going to replace mine with the collection. But who knows when I'll get to it. Sentai hasn't yet done a sale where those complete collections were awesome in price. They've had some good pricing on them, but sometime by the end of the year, I expect to have a half dozen of them, and that's going to be one of them. But, are you ready?
It'll be your turn, yeah. Go
okay. This one, I can't remember how many Oscar nods it got, but I think it only got one, and that caused some controversy. Actually, the next two are films that came out during the whole Oscar So White thing. Yeah, and both of them were among the main reasons why people were saying this, and legitimately so.
Well, you don't have the biggest one, or unless that one hidden is.
No.
The Will Smith movie.
Well, that was a big one, too.
That was the main one driving it.
Concussion, I think, didn't get anything.
Because Will Smith's wife was the one driving that movement.
Well,
and she drove that movement because of Concussion. She thought that he should get a Best Actor award for that.
Now, I will say this. Will Smith was awesome in Concussion. I don't think he necessarily got gypped out of winning the Oscar. And it's debatable whether he was one of the 5 best of the year. but he was a better choice than one or two of the people who were nominated. And yeah, the Oscars really dropped the ball 2 years in a row. I do think they're going a little far overboard, which is one of the reasons why they've not nominated Denzel 2 years in a row now. But one of the movies that really was a big part of that discussion, and rightly so, was the Rocky franchise film Creed. And, of course, basically taking its name from... What's the kid's name? Adonis Creed was the kid's name.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't remember which Rocky film it was that featured Apollo Creed. But this one, of course, brought
The first
back...
Rocky.
Was it the first one?
Yeah.
I've never been a Rocky fan.
Matter of fact, Apollo was in Rocky 1 through 4, and then in the fourth one he got killed by Drago, which is I've not even seen this film.
Yeah, but I never gave a damn about the Rocky franchise. I've seen the first movie once, I think. I've seen bits and pieces of the sequels, and I've never seen Rocky Balboa.
You don't have the appreciation. You don't deserve that. I should take that.
Strangely enough, I did see this in theaters. And I will say this. Creed is a really good movie. Michael B. Jordan does a great job as Adonis. Sylvester Stallone does do a great job as Rocky Balboa. And the supporting cast was... Oh, I forgot Tessa Thompson was in that. That's awesome. The one that plays Valkyrie, if I remember correctly, in Thor Ragnarok. Another Marvel connection, Ryan Coogler, is the director not only of this, but of the current behemoth known as Black Panther. And Michael B. Jordan co-stars in Panther as Killmonger.
Oh, yeah. Michael B. Jordan was the one who got... Actually, right. I think he got more praise than the lead.
Maybe. But I do know that this is probably one of the reasons Coogler got that gig. Probably the reason. And this one, of course, again, I think the only Oscar nod it got was a supporting actor nod for Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
And he did a fine job. But I have to admit, I find it very amusing that I called that category perfectly. I knew Mark Rylance was going to win for Bridge of Spies because he's flippin' awesome. And the critical praise was split between him and Stallone. But apparently everyone was shocked that Stallone lost. I don't get it. But I think this was the same year as Concussion, and that Jordan was put forward along with Will Smith as one who got gypped. I do think Will Smith's performance was better than Jordan's, but it was a good year all around for diversity in film, and the Oscars did not reflect that at all, so I can see why people were upset. But this is a good film, and maybe one day I'll appreciate the whole Rocky franchise better. I haven't gotten there yet. I know.
As somebody who does appreciate the Rocky franchise, each one of them, in my opinion, has their own little has their own thing. I know you don't appreciate Rocky 1 as much as most of us do, but to me, Rocky 1 was a masterpiece in many ways. It actually was an underdog story in more than one way, because we're also talking Stallone building himself up with that story that I believe he wrote and directed himself.
Yeah, and I think was he nominated for the screenplay?
I know that it won won at least one Oscar, but it should have won more than one. But it was it won
Best Picture. I mean,
was a really good film, and I've been involved with basically my father going off and on about boxing for a long time, so maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But Rocky 1 was a great film. Rocky 2 was an okay film. Rocky 3 was abysmal, with the exception of just having Mr. T there, which was kind of fun. Rocky 4 was also abysmal.
3 Oscars.
But
let's see.
A guilty pleasure. Then Rocky 5, I think, is the most underappreciated Rocky movie, because though many people rag on it, it has a lot of... If you understand the boxing, the politics around boxing, it actually is a very good film. And Rocky Balboa also, I feel like, is very unappreciated.
Okay, so it won Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Film Editing.
Oh, wow.
Nominated actor for Sylvester Stallone, actress for Talia Shire, supporting actor for Burgess Meredith, supporting actor for Burt Young. Stallone did get a screenplay nomination. Sound and original song for, I guess it's Gonna Fly Now.
Yeah.
And then, of course, was it 2 or 3 that Eye of the Tiger came from? Because that is a pretty classic song. No, yeah.
I mean, that's one of the other things that 4 had for it, is that
Yeah.
4 had the soundtrack, which
Right.
was very well regarded.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, as a whole, as a series, it's actually a pretty solid series. It's got its cheese, but the cheese is, like a lot of cheese, it's not that bad.
I will say this, though. It came out in 76. I don't think I'm alone in saying that the Best Picture, a more deserving winner, would have been Taxi Driver.
I liked Rocky better than Taxi Driver, though I agree it was a well-done film.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Rocky better. It was a more enjoyable watch than Taxi Driver.
Well, it's definitely more uplifting.
Yeah. So let's go to another pickup. This one's very recent. As many of you know, if you're following the news, NIS America is getting out of the anime business. That's making me a little bit more desperate. So if I see a sale on NIS stuff, I'm trying to pick it up. And this is one of those. If it's something I want, if it's a title that I'm like, and it's not a premium, I'm not going to get it. But this is one that I was interested in, which is Ghastly Prince Enma Burning Up. Now, this is believe it or not, this is yes, Cat, yes, I see you. This is actually a redo of 2 other series, which is Prince Enma, and neither one of those 2 have an American release. I've done research on it, and which is sad because I was looking, I was like, well, this is based off another series, and why isn't it out here? And now NIS won't be releasing it, so probably Aniplex will get it, and it'll cost like $100 an episode, and I'll never see it. So I am glad to get this, though. It looks fun and entertaining, so I do look forward to seeing this.
I will admit, of the entire NIS catalog, that ranks near the bottom of ones I want to get, but it is one of the ones I don't have yet. And if I recall correctly, it was one of a handful. That one, Ground Control to Psychoelectric Girl, Occult Academy, I think were the 3. Where, for the longest time, I'm not even positive, I think they had premium sets, but they apparently sold out immediately because I have not seen them offered in premium for ages. So maybe they did just a straight standard.
Enma is out of print also.
Well, they're all out of print at this point. But, I mean, as far as the premium
sets... There are a few that are
still
available.
There's a difference between out of print and available.
Well, I mean, they're all out of print as soon as they're made. They stopped printing them after the first printing, but,
Well, the standards, I think they did more.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that all of them are out. Even the standards, I don't think that they're out of print yet.
I guess it depends.
I mean, again,
on
it's hard to say whether they're out of print or whether... Because it's like Bandai. Bandai, for a while, kept printing some of their stuff when they started sharing their catalog. And it could be one of those where they'll continue to produce what they've got until their license runs out.
Yeah.
At least in the standard sets like this.
That's a good point. I've been wondering about that because I continue to see Bandai stuff offered new at a low price, but it's only a few select titles. So it's like, like Ghost in the Shell, you can still find pretty easily standalone complex, both parts. All right. Okay.
Yep.
So this is the other one that I think was from the same year that we were just talking about. The film that, again, I got to see in theaters, that was a big part of the Oscar so white controversy, Straight Outta Compton.
Dun, dun.
This is a really good movie. I thought it was overrated. I honestly did not think that it was as gypped as people thought it was. but it's still a good movie. And if they would go ahead and do that use of music and film Oscar, this would be a major contender.
Yeah.
This was one of the best examples of that in recent film history. But it's also one of the best examples of why the Oscars are too hung up on original music. You know, when you do a film that's about the history of music, that's what it's about, there should be a way to give that notice, you know. The performances were really good. I think they were a little bit overrated, but Ice Cube's actually played by his own son, if I remember correctly, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. is his name. He did a good job. And then a couple of the others were, I think it was Corey Hawkins that played Dre. He did a good job too. And Paul Giamatti was their manager, who he came off. This came out the same year as Love and Mercy, which was about Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys, a great film. And wholly underrated. It should have been up for some Oscar love. Both films, Paul Giamatti plays an authority figure who causes more harm than good to the musicians at the center of the film. In Love and Mercy, I think he plays the shrink that Brian Wilson went to for. He was awful in both films. It's like kind of sucks for Paul Giamatti if he ended up getting typecast.
Well, he is good at what he does.
He is good at what he does, and what he does isn't always very nice.
Yeah.
But at any rate, this ended up getting a single Oscar nomination for screenplay. And if I remember correctly, it was all white folks.
Yeah, that's
that wrote the screenplay.
That's the one thing. That's one of the other things. Both for Creed and for this, the only nominations were for white people.
Yeah. Oh man. And actually, I think Watch Mojo had a suggestion for ensemble casting or casting as an Oscar that we should have. And I kind of agree with that. This would have been a good example, even though the individual performances didn't really pop for me, as an ensemble. They worked really well together. Yes, they did really good. And it was an ensemble movie, big time. But this was a movie where it was hard to give it Oscar love. I think one reason why a lot of people were pushing it for Best Picture was because that's more of a generic category and anything theoretically could go into it. But I do think this is a film that should have gotten more love than it did from the Oscars. It sure got love at the theaters. This made a lot of money. It was actually one of the biggest earners of the year, I think. Wow. And it's a good movie. Even if you're not a big fan of rap, most of the rap featured in here is actually higher end, if you will. It's like it's the origins of gangster rap, but it's also, a lot of things are better at their origin before they become diluted by.
Well, it's the best of the best.
I'll say Dr. Dre is one of the better producers out there. One of the best, probably. And some of the stuff that they've done. And it tells a really good story. You were talking about an underdog kind of story. There's a little bit of that in this, which is probably part of its appeal, too. But at any rate, I am glad to finally have that and get to watch it again eventually.
All right, so this here is another one that I got on sale because NIS had a mini sale on some of them, and they were $30 each, which isn't too bad. And that is Love Live.
He has a set that all matches.
Well, sort of. This is blue.
Well,
This is all the standard ones. You've got these two in like premium and this in the standard.
No, I have. Which one's that? Is that
That's
the movie?
movie?
No, I have those in premium. That's the problem.
That is kind of, because if you had these two in premium and this in the standard, it wouldn't be so bad. But again, this was discussed in a previous video. I'm not going to go too far into it. I believe the story is like to save their school, a bunch of the girls get together and form like a girl band or something.
More like a couple of them get together and are so enthusiastic they bring everyone else together.
Yeah.
But,
So, that's about it, really. I'm not going to be too in depth about it. Like I said, it's been covered before.
Yeah.
But
We've talked a lot about it, but
again, from what I've heard, solid show.
Mhm.
Had to go ahead and get it.
Mhm.
I mean, $30 a season isn't too terrible bad. So NIS usually runs a little bit higher than that for their standards. So I'm not too bad on that one.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before that I watched the first series in a single day. It was like a sick day, and I wasn't going anywhere, and it was so addictive. I just went and watched it, and it was just wonderful. And I'll rewatch it again so that I can watch the rest of the series, probably sooner than later, because that's a priority. So next up, I have, speaking of fun, this is a really, really fun movie. This is not, it didn't get any Oscar love, but it probably could have. It was a good movie.
Oh, it was a good movie.
But look at that cast. This is Now You See Me. Got Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Melanie Laurent, Ela Fisher, Dave Franco, Michael Caine, and Morgan Freeman.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's hard to go wrong with that cast.
It was a good, heist film.
Yeah, it was a heist film involving magicians. It was very interesting. It was even more interesting because it came out the same year as The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. And it's like, what is it with doubling up on themes?
They're spying on
I still
each
need
other.
to see the second movie in this series. I wanted to. But this was a Black Friday pickup. I think I got it for about $4 or $5. It's one I've wanted for a while, and when I finally saw it at that price, I couldn't pass it up.
It's one of my mother's favorite films, and I do have the sequel, but I have yet to see it as well. So, going along with this, I went ahead and pulled the trigger on this. Amazon had a brief sale. It was $35, so it's not exactly great, but not terrible either for this price. And this is season 1 of Love Live Sunshine, I believe that is. And this is sort of an indirect sequel to the other 3. And I don't know much of that. I know there's 2 seasons of it, so I expect the second season to be out. And then when I have that, I'll still have the complete collection. Looks like this looks like a Funimation one.
It's a funny release, yeah.
It's amazing. I don't even have to see the logo. It's
which thank God it went to Funimation and not Aniplex.
Most of NIS's stuff goes to Aniplex for some reason. But Funimation apparently picked up the rights to this series.
If they get the rights to the first series and re-release it, that'd be great.
So that's good. They're usually solid releases, and they're affordable releases. So good, more power to them. It's sad that I can look at a release I don't even have to see it, and I'm like, this looks like a Funimation title.
Well, I mean, it's branding. It makes sense, yeah.
It's packaging style.
Sentai is usually pretty easy to spot, too, once you get used to it. And NIS was pretty easy to spot, but especially the premiums.
So, at least I've got everything out for that now.
And I've not seen any of Sunshine. From what I hear, it's not as popular as the first series, but it's still pretty popular. And it's a spin-off. It's like you said, sort of sequel. It's another group of girls who are inspired by the first group and do their own thing. Anyway, my last one is an NIS release, actually. It's one of the few premium sets I still had to get that I did not have, that it was possible to get.
I want to get that myself.
And this one is called The Chronicles of the Going Home Club, which looks like it's a fun little series. I think it's a slice of life. I know very little about it, and it ended up costing more than I really wanted. I think it was $50 on sale, which is a small sale.
A very small discount.
But it is going out of print, and I wanted to snap it up.
Yeah.
And I think the only other premium set that I did not order that I wanted to that was offered, I'm hoping I'll get another shot at A Lull in the Sea.
Oh yeah, me too on that.
But this was one of the few that I was still missing.
A Lull in the Sea does not have a standard release. I have looked.
I thought it did.
I have not been able to see one on Right Stuff's site. Maybe I'm missing it, and I do miss these, but that's what worries me, is if there is no standard release.
But A Lull in the Sea was one where they actually did individual premium sets that sold out quickly, and then they did combine it into a complete collection, which I don't know why they never did that with Love Live or Umineko or any of the others, but they did for that one.
See,
I
I don't want to get it.
planned to.
I was gonna get the Princess and the Pilot, but I didn't want to get it without A Lull in the Sea. Even though it's an indirect relation, it is related.
Are they related?
They are related.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. Well, the Pilot's Love Song was the one that was closely related.
By the way,
Hmm?
Princess and the Pilot, cheapest offering. You can get that for like $12. Now on the
On standard. But it is also a movie. So, that's not... And I think I ended up getting those two, what was it, like 25 something? No, I think it was a little more than that. But I got them as a bundle, that one and the Pilot's Love Song. But yeah, like I said, this one, I'm looking forward to seeing that. It looks fun.
Oh, it looks fun.
But I have a bunch of these sets, and I'm thinking... Once I finish Collection 6 of Fairy Tale, I'll probably do Nadia next. And then I think I'm going to launch wholeheartedly into my premium sets and try to get them knocked out. So, sooner than later.
I only have one premium set that I have not watched, and that is Fuse. And I had all my premium sets taken care of.
And it's only a movie.
And it's just, I got it at the tail end of something because they had said, oh, nope, never offered again. Because... somehow the word got out, oh, by the way, it's out of print. And then it got sold out so much that Right Stuff didn't even put sold out. It just disappeared from Right Stuff.
I see a premium set right there that's tipped down.
I mean like the giant box.
Oh, okay.
The ones that are like that tall.
Yeah. No, I was talking just generally. Yeah.
Generally, I've got a few of them.
Because you got the Troubled Miss Cultura, which is one I need to watch too.
I've got a couple of those. The ones that'll actually fit on my shelves, those I do have. That I do need to get to, but that is it. And I have to get to the vet because I'm not feeling so good. So it's cheaper. Actually, it'd be more expensive. So no. But one of my cats is not feeling so well, so I'm going to be having him checked out. But we will see you on the next one.